saying my internet is unstable.
Let's bring the volume down.
Which floors me because I'm not that far physically, although I guess there's. All right. I hear you, Mr. Oliver.
That is sort of like
I don't watch that.
okay.
It's a fun, cute video.
Oh my goodness.
Welcome to Mom Talk. Where mom's talking. See.
And mom.
And momming.
And momming.
The ultimate multitasking. Talking mommies, mommying, and talking. Not just to the child, but to
Yes, I'm here and I can hear
all of the lands. Hi, Mama. Setting up a little. My little is off on an adventure. So we will be hearing about that soon, I am sure. In the meantime, hi, I'm Mindy, mindygets.com. And joining me from our virtual coffee shop for our Sunday morning coffee date is the lovely chameleon, Erica Steinitz. Hey, it looks like you're an apparition because the video has been slow, and so it's like you're in one place. Kind of both.
Okay, we're gonna watch. He's gonna watch kitten videos over there.
He's gonna watch what?
And goose, yes. Kitten
And
videos.
goose.
And goose.
Kitten
Yeah, there's an
videos
orange
with
kitten.
the kitten on his lap. Wow.
No.
That's like ultimate.
I don't know what we're gonna get the kitten on his lap anytime soon, but yeah. The kitten kind of stays away from him right now.
I can't imagine why.
It's like having two toddlers moving around at, fast speed.
Yep. Little flurry ones. Wow. Mercury is direct, though you wouldn't know it. No one's told my mouth. Cheers, Mama.
I had to bring myself to the beach today. I'm really, really craving surf and sand, but it's gonna be a little while.
Yeah, a sea breeze, I'm telling you. Hopefully sooner than later. Yeah. My birthday mug is in the dishwasher. Mama was too lazy to run the dishwasher, regardless of what the Cascade commercials say. So this is Mom Talk. We have lived on other platforms, as well as being saved and archived on our evolving website, momtalk.live. Right? If you go there, don't be scared. It's just a baby with baby acne. And that didn't sleep through the night. So it's starting. And what we do on Mom Talk. What do we do on Mom Talk? Drink coffee?
We drink coffee and we talk about what's going on. So it's Mom Talk because we're moms. And it evolved from us getting together and talking about life and kids and things. And what we used to do in college. We've known each other for a little while. A year or two, and but we talk about other things besides being moms.
Yes.
So this is really for anybody that has anything to talk about. It's current events, it's past events, it's personal events.
Lots of personal events. Sorry, we have no air conditioning. I have this fan blowing on me, which means all my little gray wispies are going straight up my nose.
I find that's happening. I find that's happening a lot in the car or somewhere where I have a mask on, and all of a sudden I have hair in my face and a mask on, and I'm out in public, and I'm like, but I need the hair out of my, you know, 'cause you don't want to touch your face. And
Yeah.
like, how do I get the hair out of my face and not make it look like I'm, anyway.
Yeah. Mhm.
So,
Life now. So what do we talk about here? We've talked a lot in the past, like this winter, we were both sort of on this journey to find a good planner that worked for us. And we've had to figure out that we liked planners, not calendars, and that whole debate. Because we're both entrepreneurs and employees and moms, and we're trying to do the things and work smarter, not harder, right?
no, I'm listening to Mindy.
Okay.
But the kitties are cute.
Yeah.
I'm sitting right next to you, sweetheart.
But he's got headphones on. They can't comprehend. I know my daughter at the library sometimes with headphones on.
I'm so excited. Yeah, this kitten's like hours old. It looks like he's like this big. Anyway, so it's all exciting. And we have 2 kids, and they're all little, and they're both, well, 2 of them are little. My
Yeah.
other one's a teenager. Oh, she's never at this early. Yeah, regulating volume is a whole other one. We're excited. But yes, deciding we like planners versus calendars, and how to also work that in with journaling, because we both journal.
Look at that. Someone's
And-
eating that other cat.
I know.
They have to narrate everything, and they want everyone to be so excited about everything that they are doing. They need an audience,
Which we love.
110% of the time.
And we, you know, we are active, and we want to encourage that and talk to us. But it's also the timing thing. So, and I think we were also talking, so we were talking about that earlier this year and trying to plan for 2020. And
The
look
year
ahead
of
to
clarity,
2020.
right? Clear vision.
Right. And yeah, and plans and processes and doing and being, and we're doing a lot of being, definitely in the last couple of months. I don't know, it's the only, this what came to my mind. I'm like,
And I think it's brilliant that we're doing a lot of being. But some of what I've been discovering is that this figuring it out bit, this push, this masculine, which is not at all an attack on maleness or judgment. This is just comprehending things, a way to understand, right? Because I was doing a lot in business and getting pissed off about it because I have chosen and have felt as if I had to be the provider for a lot of my life. And so that was very draining for me because that's not my true nature. I have evolved to be not so great at receiving. I have been I'm going to figure it out. And, this didn't work out. I'm going to figure it out.
Mom?
But it is very masculine. It is very third dimensional. It is very patriarchy. It is very...
the cats are eating, they don't like people picking
different
them up.
than what my true nature is. And so I tried to learn more about that through work-life balance, calendar versus planner, journaling. How do I schedule things? How do things flow in the day and the month and the whatever? And then March, April, May. And learning to be in the beingness and not figure it out. And I listened to a lovely Kyle Cease talk about switching timelines. So you can look on the YouTubes for that. It's fabulous. And he talked about figuring it out is three-dimensional. Figuring it out is not co-creating. It's not allowing universe, God's spirit to move. It's not allowing an unfolding of things. And that was a big sigh of relief for me. Oh, okay. It does get to be easy, right? Like Amanda Francis says.
Right. I definitely think the last 3 months, especially compared to what we were talking about 6 months ago, so I guess we're into 4 months now, is, you know, that opportunity, that slowdown, right? That chance to take advantage of an opportunity to be, and to really try to get some clarity or clearer on what that means to you. Because yeah, I got into that push, right? Not instead of receiving, I think about where it's definitely gotten me to think about where I was in my 20s and being able to just have that energy of being and letting be and receiving, versus now 20 years later where, you know, a lot happened in my 30s, and, you know, it was a hard decade for me, and it made me
Yep.
What?
the timing of that was
Whoa!
Pretty perfect.
pretty perfect. You know, it's kind of the same thing. I switched into more of I need to push things to happen. I need to make things happen. They're not going to just happen. But how did that be? Because when I was in my 20s, it did, right? Because I was more open. Easier said than done. I understand that, because it's trying to reverse thinking again, right? It's definitely much easier to go one way than it is the other, because now I'm in that analytic mode of what are the steps? How do I plan it, right? Although I think in fact, I signed up for something that Kate Northrup's doing this week, because one thing that I haven't let be in the last 4 months is my schedule. I was looking forward to, because I do work during the day, and it's that schedule of, I was like, okay, I've got this extra time. I'm home. Yes, I'm working. Yes, I still have kids.
You're not commuting.
I'm not commuting. I have extra time. But yet I feel like I have less time than I did before. So I think, I'm enrolled in something Kate Northrop is working on this week, on overworking and that mentality of that push mentality. That you have to work extra to make it happen. But I think also planners have not lost their place. If you have the right outlets, I think this is a good opportunity. We actually had a couple of conversations over the winter on calendars versus planners versus journals versus what's right for you. And I think this is a great opportunity to acknowledge that planners aren't there to help you push further. They shouldn't be there to help you unless that is what helps you, right? But for the most part, to kind of get out of that forcing and into more of receiving, if you find the right one, it helps you plan your energy a little bit and run with your energies more efficiently for work. Efficiently, is that even the right, I don't even know if it's the right word, more effectively, more naturally for what works for you, and not looking at it from a planning perspective of, I have 12 hours in the day and this time, even if you have kids at home, right? It's, well, how do I plan all 12 hours between when they wake up and they go back to bed? Or 15 or 16, like my son who doesn't like to go to bed. Right? It's not a looking at it as how do I plan out these hours in the day, is what are my energies, right? Trying to take this opportunity to tap into what are your flows of energy. Because I think, like you said, right, masculine isn't looking at it from being a man versus the feminine energy being a woman. It's when do you have those peaks of each type of energy and how to feed into those energies and utilize them to let the universe guide you, or spirit or God guide you into, you do need a planner still in some ways to kind of go, okay, well, this is what's going on this week. I have this many bills to pay, right? But acknowledging when those energies happen to know what you can tackle to be most you and be that week. As I just came full circle. I don't even know if I understood what I just said.
More coffee, do things faster, talk faster, say more things, right? Yeah, I think it's interesting, the lesson in allowing that we've been given, and how we've had the opportunity to learn about abundance. And abundance of time is as much a mental construct as it ever has been. And just like, people say, if you have $300, you're going to spend $300. If you have $3 million, you're going to spend $3 million. It's the same as with your day. If you have that much more time to work, you possibly work if that's who you are and that's how you've done life, right? But we've been given the opportunity to learn about flow and slowing down and what's important and how we can work and how maybe we don't need to work. I mean, in my opinion, the universe is a pretty fantastic and magical force, being, presence. And there's a lot of doing that's natural. And sure, you can ride your bicycle and pedal the pedals, ride your stationary bicycle as fast as you want to go, while all of the rest of this is just like, it's already happening. It's already here. You can either let your feet up and you can go for the ride, or you can pedal like hell. I'm not saying you don't do things. I'm not saying that it's not great to have my reminders that I need to send out the summer reading emails first thing Monday morning and whatever else, and block out time. But I'm just seeing those blocks of time differently, and I did a whole rest challenge in February, and challenged people to rest for the month of February. And I rested in new ways or more ways than I had since becoming a mom. But like, even yesterday was a Saturday, had a garage sale in the morning, was not super busy. So what did I do? I built a trellis for the currants, and I pulled weeds, and I super hot, super tired. And I sat down and I didn't do it all at once, but I watched a movie by myself in a reclined position in 2 segments, but in the course of less than 24 hours, which I don't remember the last time that's happened. I used to watch movies, but it'd be like in 4 breastfeeding sessions, like whatever. And I kept thinking, okay, well, my daughter's playing, she's being entertained, whatever, I should get on and finally find pictures for that post that's been sitting and waiting to go up on my website for a month now. every time that I got up to do those things, I just turned my little hiney around and went back to a chair, got myself a snack, took a drink of water, because I needed to take my own advice, and I needed to just let things be for a day, and to rest and know and have the assurance that it's all okay. It's all okay. I can rest. It's all okay. Take my own advice. Remember my lessons from February, and to be with that. And I was thinking about like the year-end review things that I do, and whether or not I should be doing them now. I don't know. What do you think? Do you think that now, in the middle of this hullabaloo of a year, it would be useful to you to sit down and do some, like, what has really happened this year and journal that out? And do a reset and revision board?
I think it depends on where you feel you are too. Because if you feel you're in a state of transition, right? Or towards the end of a state of transition, and you've looked at that, it's not a bad idea to what do you call it? Oh gosh, my brain just like the terminal. Just place that, right? It's not necessarily a bad idea to, when in marketing, we look at it as, basically a mid-step check-in, right? It's, you had a vision for this set amount of time, right? Where are you to that? And has that changed, right? I work with a lot of small businesses that are really affected by the last 4 months. And one of the things that we're working with them on, for those that thankfully are still at least being, right? It's not trying to thrive, they're at least being. What we're trying to help them kind of evaluate, that mid-year, right? That mid-process check-in. It's not necessarily a bad idea to look at it and go, am I the same person, right? Is this the same business? Am I the same person that I was when I set this up 6 months ago, right? And if you are, great. And you're like, nope, this still looks like what I want to focus on and what I want to prioritize and where I want to be and the space I want to be in, then that's great. But you might look at it and go, you know what? Things have changed. I've evolved, right? I think Kate and Mike have talked about that too, where it's like in the middle of a process, they got rid of something. And they're like, you know what? This isn't working. This isn't working for us. This isn't working within our processes. It's making us harried. Drop this. Let's do this instead, right? I don't think, especially, and there's no magic point for that. Like right now, we're talking 6 months into the year. It just happens to be 6 months into the year. It could have happened at 4 months. If you're not ready to reevaluate at week 2 months, and at 8 months, it's not a magic number. But if you feel you're in a space where it's like, you know what? And that's kind of why I joined this Kate workshop this week, because it's like, you know what? I have learned something over the last 4 months. I've learned some of my tendencies, and maybe they've been magnified to me. So, I think the reevaluation is not a bad thing. This way you can set a vision for the next 6 months, given I shouldn't say our, because my circumstances aren't necessarily the same as yours. Yeah. Given your current circumstances or my, it's, okay, is this vision? And if it's still, you still may have the same priorities, you just may have a different view, right?
Yeah.
On their placement and hierarchy or how to get there.
I think for me, a month or two ago, I felt like I needed to pay attention to accomplishments this year in a retrospective, like things I would have done at the end of the year, like make the list of month by month, like what did I do? Because I think a lot of us are feeling that. What day is it? What month is it? Am I still a female living in Kansas? Like, where are we? But as I'm feeling into this shift, I think that's the word. I'm feeling things. And so I can't use the same metrics. I can't, how to explain it? So when I was married for 6 years, there was a running list every waking hour of what I had done. It was constantly measuring my worth, my ability, my everything by all of the things that I had done during the day. It was a very masculine checklist of accomplish, ridiculous. I did the breakfast dishes, I did the lunch dishes, I did the dinner dishes, I did the sweeping of the floor, I did the groceries, we did on and on and on, right? I'd be going to bed trying to list in my head, I made breakfast. Didn't I make breakfast? What do we have for breakfast? Okay, yes, I can remember. We had granola and bananas. And reconstructing this list, all because there was no self-worth. And I felt like I had to have this checklist in order to be worth keeping, right? And it took a long time. It was jarring to not have the same lists to be able to make every day in my brain when I wasn't taking care of a stepkid, when I wasn't taking care of a spouse or the house or like all those things. It was very jarring. And I had to figure out how to live without that list, right? And art therapy helped a lot. But this year, right now, with these feelings and processing feelings, I'm trying to find my way in assessing this year and direction and where I want to go. Because I can sit down and make the list. Okay, in February, I did Rescuary. And so that was one, value add for my community. And in March, whatever I did in March, nothing's coming to mind. Had a birthday party for my kid, right? Didn't get to take her on her first birthday cruise, like whatever. Like I don't feel like that's helpful right now. I may still do it to try and grease the wheels to get somewhere. But I'm maybe a vision, maybe taking down the vision board and re-engineering that will help. I'm just wondering, Mike, is this sort of overworkers meeting your reevaluation, do you think? Kind of a mid-year reset for you? Is that what?
Well, I also think so. What do you think about what you're saying brings up a lot of, you have people that, like I've been working, so I've been dealing with the last 4 months in a different way than, let's say, somebody that now has time, right, isn't working. And let's take the stress of I understand there's also other things there. The stress of, well, I'm not working now, so there's no income. Let's take that stress away right now. Because that's a whole other thing to have to approach. But, you know, you have somebody that they're used to, like you said, right? This is how I show my work throughout the day, because you're used to having an 8 to 12, 14-hour day of, I have meetings, I have this, I have work, I have reports, I have this things. And then all of a sudden, or even if, you know, you're a hairdresser and it's like where your day is scheduled, I start at 8 o'clock and I've got a color at this time and I'm going to fit in a cut here and I'm doing right. Yep. And now you've got this time, and it's hard where people, I think, to sometimes get away from that energy of, I have to lift, and I find my value in, this is what I've done in the day. And now for 3-4 months, I've been home with or without kids, right? But, you know, I've cleaned. I've heard this a couple of times from people, like, I've cleaned as much as I can clean today. I've done this as much as I can do today. I've done this. And all I've done then for 3 hours is watch TV. And you're like, okay. And is that so bad? Like, cause I think, that's why I think sometimes it's like re-looking at a vision board, because it might give you an opportunity to reevaluate and learn some of those things of, it's okay to take time to sit and watch a movie and not have to do it in 2 or 3 sessions, right? It's okay you sat and watched a movie for 2 hours. There's nothing wrong with that. Rest is good. And if this, however long anybody might not have that daily work schedule, right? That learning to, now when you reevaluate, goodness gracious, big words today, your vision board, maybe now rest is a priority that you're putting on there. Time, right? Nothing, not schedule, being. Like, maybe that's now something where in January, when you did the vision board, you had all of these things of do, right? I have this vision of doing. And now your vision board is maybe a combination of doing and being, right?
Yeah. Beingness and presence and things. I mean, I think I've had metrics of value that were activity, just a checklist of activity, and that's not valid anymore. I mean, I still do them. I'm still gonna get up every day and brush my teeth and have breakfast and do the breakfast dishes and da-da-da-da-da. And that list came up just a few days ago, and I found myself running through it, which is just a retrograde thing of reminding me, like, that doesn't, it was weird. It was weird to have it running through my head. I'm like, why am I doing this? What good is it doing? I couldn't make the list. My brain was like, what did I do 2 hours ago? I would get lost trying to make the list. And I'm like, I know it needs to go. So that value system needs to go. But I'm here in this gap between list and living. It's squishy.
So maybe it's not time for you to do that.
Yeah, like that.
You know what I mean? It's like, and there's nothing wrong with that either.
How do you evaluate beingness?
Yeah.
Joy, but again, that's, feelings for me are so amorphous, which is funny because my ex used to complain that I was just all emotion. I'm like, I haven't felt for 15 years, like, so like a scale of joy seems weird. Like, joy seems like, I don't know, one of my favorite writers used to talk about Joy wearing this pink twirly dress, like out in a sunshine-filled garden, right? And I think that there are moments of joy in my life, but it looks nothing like a twirly pink dress in a garden. So being a words person and being driven by this masculine list making, what's the box for joy? And what does it look like? How do you define it? And can you live without putting it in a box and a definition and putting it in a pink dress? I think for me, it's learning to live without those rigid definitions, but just marking it in the moment and knowing that that's enough. Like, snuggles with my daughter when she's still mostly asleep, and
Right.
she sticks her head between, my side. She gets upside down in bed all the time. She sticks her head between my bent knees and curls along. Of course, it means I have a foot in my head now because she's tall. But, like that's a joyful moment, but it's not a pink dress twirling in the garden. But it's okay.
But it's your pink dress twirling in a garden.
Right.
Maybe it's a purple dress.
Come on, you know me.
Twirling on the seashore.
It's a green dress on the
seashore.
Not a sandy beach or rocky beach, by the way. Mr. Wright, wherever he's listening, take notes. Yeah, green dress on the rocky shore. But how do we move more towards that? That's my desire for me. But we're just here to chat it out. We're not here to solve any problems, because that's what women do. We just sift through the details and be present with each other and see each other. Some of it is inspiration, and we do share ahas and resources, right? But beyond Erica telling me that that's not the dress, we'll keep shopping. Like, we're not here to tell each other what to do either.
Right.
But I am curious, what's this reset for you? Is it something that you're going to take into the class, something that you're looking forward to in the class, something you're going to figure out after this week's class?
Yeah, I'm looking.
Or does it have nothing to do with the class?
So I'm looking forward to getting a perspective, because it's something that I have been struggling with. And my problem is I do have it's weird. I have more of a masculine, even when I was letting things flow to me in my 20s, right? I was a list maker. When I got married, I had lists of lists, right? I still was letting things happen, but to organize everything, I had lists of lists, right? When I was first pregnant with my first one, I had lists of lists, just because I knew there were things to do and to keep those things, but I still let things, right? It was more to keep track of the physical. What I physically had to have a crib, right? I had to remember I had a crib. And that has just, with things that have happened between some postpartum anxieties and then some other things happening in my 30s that have created additional anxiety that I'm working on, that list making has morphed into also not allowing, right? And my brain also it's having a hard time letting go, right? As much as I set to it on myself, as much as I have things somewhere, the thinking part of my brain won't let go and just let be. The surrender part. It's hard, right? So it's kind of that. So what happens when I have extra time? I fill it. Not with the things like what I had envisioned filling it with was getting healthier, working out, spending, you know, time with the kids a little bit more. But I'm filling it with work. I'm filling it with doing instead of being. And I'm looking for other ways to help that processing. So I don't know what I'm necessarily expecting to get out of it. And I'm trying to let that be. So that it's just I just know that when she mentioned it, I was like, oh my gosh. You know, this craziness, okay, that's the wrong word. I'm really trying to get it off of using those words. This frenetic energy I have felt over the last month is a product of the first 3 months of work. Even when I'm not working, I'm working because it's okay. Now I'm off work and now I'm working at, you know, like, so. And as much as I can tell myself, and I meditate daily, and I do this, my brain is still not letting go to be, you know, as much as like Amanda Francis talks about, right? Handing it over and just, she knows it's there. My conscious brain is saying, yes, this is true. But my subconscious brain is still not like I was in my 20s, right? So I'm just trying to, and maybe I won't get anything out of it, but it's a free workshop. And I thought, let's take that opportunity and see, and maybe I can find, maybe something triggers that, right? Because everybody's a little bit different in terms of what is that, like you said, that aha moment, right? What is that piece? And at what point do you allow yourself subconsciously to do that and to see that? And right now there's pieces of me that just aren't open to seeing the pink dress, blue dress on the blue dress on the seashore instead of pink dress in the garden either, because there's still that element of I can vision board, but it's still a planning board too. So we'll see. I'll let you know.
Yeah, I'm excited to see. So what else we do on Mom Talk, besides we meet weekly to do this, is we kind of flow, which is ironic for the two of us. We flow along with what we talk here about, what's coming up in our lives, right? Ironically, we don't plan our topics, not like a month or a quarter at a time. We do sort of flow with what's coming up. And I think what's come up before, we talked a little bit about surrender. But this morning I was journaling about forgiveness as a process and surrender. And that might be something that we talk about maybe next week, maybe the week after. But unless you have any last brilliant thoughts, we've been somewhere near half an hour.
We've been in the half. I think we're a little closer to 40 minutes, possibly. There's no timer even on the recording, which I think is interesting.
Know us.
Usually there's at least a timer on the recorder on the recording going. But yeah, usually we talk anywhere from half an hour to an hour is usually where we're in. I think the most we've ever gone is an hour and a half, possibly. And I don't remember what topic that was. Usually if it involves kids and if the kids actually get involved, they can
Yeah, some of our longer talks aren't necessarily longer talking. There are many more children moments.
Yeah, I should probably go find out where mine went to, because Dad was still sleeping and now he's been gone for about 15 minutes. So I would gather to say that Dad is probably not sleeping anymore. So,
Yeah.
but I'm pretty sure he's probably, it's, yeah. So I'm more West Coast. So it's only about 9 o'clock here. And Mindy's more central.
Yep.
So we're usually Sunday mornings, a little bit early for West Coast, depends on what's going on. But that's okay. We'll post, this will get posted on Mindy's page, and it'll get posted on my Love, Joy, and Sprinkles page on YouTube as well.
We have a Mom Talk playlist on both places, and Mom Talk.live, like we said, it's the acne covered, cranky infant at this stage, but it's coming along. So
yeah. And if you have any questions or any thoughts on topics, let us know.
Absolutely. We will see you around the block.
Awesome. See you around.
Bye.
Bye.